Welcome everybody to a Delco Nerd Network hot take. Haven't seen a hot take before? Well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a TV show, and the TV show is Batman Caped Crusader. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Hi, Gooch. How are you?
Doing well.
That's good to hear. I'm trying to get into my best Batman voice for this whole podcast. This is going to be it the whole time. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. How's it going, man? I know we're going through the roll here. This is our third podcast of the day.
3 of 4.
3 of 4. One more down.
We're primed.
We are.
I feel like like when we do multiple podcasts in a day, the second one is when you're in your prime, and then everything after is sort of
kind of decline a little
right,
bit. But
like,
we're going to keep
right.
it going. We're going to keep it
Yeah.
fresh and ready to go. And I'm actually honestly excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, we got a fresh take of Batman a little bit. A little inspired by the animated series, but still like very different from it at the same time.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed Caped Crusader. I didn't love the last 2 episodes, and I think there are some odd things going on in this show in terms of animation.
Really?
You know what really bothered me? Gunshots and people getting shot by guns. No muzzle flare for like when people are getting shot.
Right.
Like I noticed the lack of muzzle flare and like no blood, and it really just doesn't seem like this
Interesting.
person actually got shot.
Yeah.
Like at the end, like when Harvey Dent gets shot, it's just like bam, ow. Like I'm like, did that? And like it happens a few times, like in the series as a whole. And I was just like,
Interesting. That didn't stick out to me, I will say.
yeah, I was like, isn't this supposed to be?
You know
a
what
little bit
actually
more
bugs
adult?
me? The cars.
Really?
I just hate that they're 3D models. Really, like they stand out so much to me. I think overall, though, I really adore this animation style. I think everyone looks great in it.
Yeah.
There are a few choices I'm not hugely about. Harley Quinn might be the bigger one. She grew on me a little bit, but
Dude,
overall,
I was so anti-Penguin, and then I was like, okay,
yeah,
it works.
It worked. It
when
worked very
I saw
well.
that, I was like, what the fuck? And
Off the bat, it just looked like a change to make a change.
Right, and her voice, like, I don't think matched, but it ended up, you know, the female version of the Penguin ended up being pretty good. But at first,
She had a big umbrella-shaped cannon.
What is going on here? Yeah,
Which was great. I always love that. But yeah, no, I think animation style, otherwise, definitely you see a lot of animated series in this, but refined and a bit more of like
the size of people, like
oh,
Bruce,
they're big fridges. I love it. Did you see my tweet? I was like, everyone's shaped like a big fridge in this show, and I love it. It's so good.
Kathy was over here, and we were watching the last 2 episodes, and she's like, everyone's really big. I'm like, yeah, they are.
I do love, and you know what's funny though, because like when he's dressed as Batman, he looks pretty slim. I think surprisingly enough.
I mean, the suit.
It's definitely, I think, supposed to be the style of the 50s or 40s suit.
Like he does in the animated series, he has the tan double-breasted jacket.
Yes.
Like that's such a iconic look from
Dude,
the
he looks so
animated
good.
series, and including the fridge bodies, if that's what we want to call them.
Dude, I mean, tanks of bodies. Let's just get to Batman first here really quick. Hamish, right?
Hamish Linkler?
Hamish Linkler? Yeah, Linkler or something.
Linklater?
Linklater? I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah.
I got to say, man, I fucking loved him.
Yeah, I
Like,
did too.
I was actually surprised at how much I adored him in this role. The way he was switching back between the Bruce Wayne and the Batman of it all.
Yeah, very animated series.
Very much.
Calling...
Hamish Linklater, yep.
Yeah, so calling himself, like, he's talking about Bruce Wayne, but he says Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like Bruce
He's
Wayne's
Batman.
a different
Yeah.
person. Yeah. His relationship with Alfred is very different. I don't really think we get enough to really have to say much about it, but he calls him Pennyworth.
Yeah.
A lot. And the way he like talks to him is a bit different than any other interpretation of
Can
them.
I say something? I think he's the most almost psychopathic Batman we've seen yet.
Yeah.
In the way of like, and I mean that in the way of like, Batman's not a normal dude.
He's pretty troubled.
He's fucked up, and he makes an oath to himself at the age of 8 to fight crime, and he follows through with it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But like in this,
with the bedroom scene.
the bedroom scene I thought was really great, and I think they do a good job of making Alfred and Batman and his interactions so much different, and his relations very different in this, and it works. But like, he's sitting up at night. We do see the Waynes die again because you have to.
We gotta see it.
And he's
Remember
like
why he does what he does. Yes.
But I think they needed it more in this one for that scene, for where, he's crying and he's just, Alfred takes him home. You can tell he's much more of a servant in this one to him. He doesn't have like a very familial attachment.
Father figure, yeah.
And by the end, he's like crying and he wakes up and he just walks into Alfred's room. And then he like opens his door and he's like, Master Bruce, what's up? And he's like, I'm going to make them pay. All of them will pay, Alfred. Or he's like, all of them will pay and you're going to help me. And then he just shuts the door slowly.
Jesus
and I'm like,
Christ.
oh my God. And
Yeah.
I think Alfred realizes in this, he's like, man, he's fucked up. And like, this is how he's dealing
and
with
I think
trauma.
another scene that shows that when he picks up the gun. Like I was like, whoa.
He hadn't made that decision yet. And like, it feels like that moment was that realization for him.
But like enough where he's gonna unload the cylinder of
Around
this
his
Magnum into the crates around Harvey Dent. It was Harvey Dent. No, Flash.
Flash, yeah.
Yeah. Flash and Bullock were really cool too.
They were.
I think Flash is a character I've seen before, but not nearly to this level.
The name sounds very familiar. Bullock is the one that I feel like we hear all the time for sure when it comes to like or detectives for
the
Gotham.
GCPD, and of course Renee.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, Hamish, man, God, he's got a silky smooth vocal cord. That moment where he's like going at Harvey and he's like as Bruce and he's like, come on, Harvey. He's like, do what you need to do, Dent. And he kind of like switches to Batman in the middle of it. And he was like, what? He's like, listen, Harvey, you need to do this. Like, we just need to, you need to do the right thing. And I know you were saying, at least in Discord, that you weren't the hugest fan of the Harvey Dent stuff, but
yeah, I don't know why I didn't like it for some reason. It was like the only, like, I kind of liked how the show took the animated series approach, and every episode was sort of like a different thing, villain of the week kind of mentality, and there were some through lines, which is like essentially Harvey Dent and Rupert Thorne
and a few other things.
The mayoral race, yeah, but there's not like
bit of Harley stuff, kind of.
Yeah, that has like a three
line, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job of reinterpreting some people in this. I don't know if Harley works for me as well without that Joker.
It worked for me.
It worked better than I anticipated. I agree.
It was
and
interesting.
Her look actually grew on me too. She's got a badonkadonk, but she is.
I think if she looked like the normal Harley Quinn, I think it would have been worse. I think making her Asian and changing the
like
Harley,
the green and yellow, coloring.
Yeah, like changing her colors and like her clown outfit really helped like differentiate her.
I do think there are some moments in this where it kind of harps on the more cultural stuff now, like where she's talking to Bruce Wayne about like, oh, these rich white men come in here, and I don't think it's overbearing at all or anything like that.
She's clearly a therapist who deals with like the rich class of Gotham,
right?
Which is interesting. It seems to be her bag.
Yeah, and she's like mind controlling them or whatever, like brainwashing them. I think that one dude was supposed to be King, the King Tut guy who thinks he's like a king from the past. That's in Batman the Animated Series. There's like one guy. He thinks he's a pharaoh or something.
It's Hercules.
Oh, it is Hercules? Okay.
Pretty confident.
But yeah, you can tell they're taking different angles with this, especially with how they clearly aren't doing a Robin in this show, I think, especially with how they showed
that was kind of odd.
I think that was just supposed to be a reference to his sidekicks, and it makes sense because they're all orphans.
Except for, Tim Drake wasn't there, but it's...
No, they say Timmy... At one point, they're like, Timmy's lost too. They mentioned a Tim, like Tim that's supposed to be...
Yeah, so like the orphanage of Robins under Lee Tompkins.
Yeah.
Who's like, Lee Tompkins is like an old Jewish woman in this.
Who is she in the other things?
She's usually like a doctor that helped Bruce Wayne when he was younger, not like she is in Gotham.
Oh, I see.
And she's usually older. Like she's in the animated series. And she has an orphanage, and I think it's like she's a doctor.
Makes sense.
She's usually just like a side character, like she is in this. But she doesn't sound like an old Jewish lady.
Gotcha.
But in this she does.
I will say another thing I do appreciate that they squarely set this in the time period that they did. Socially, it doesn't make a lot of sense in certain aspects of like for the social norms of the time. Like, I don't know how often you'd see, like, a black police commissioner maybe in the 40s or something like that.
Oh, for sure.
And there would definitely be more, like...
You know what? Kathy said the exact same thing.
Well, no,
she's
I'm
like, I don't know.
I think cultural... Like, I think it's more of an analog universe in the way of, like, it's this time period, but it's not supposed to be, like, culturally exactly representative of that time period. But I do love... He doesn't have the Bat computer anymore. He has the Bat bulletin board or
it's
something.
Like the Bat room.
Yeah, and like he's like...
It's a cave, but it's not high-teched out.
And he's got like his little reader that he's reading through the newspaper through because that's how you'd get your news. And he's got his different grapple hooks
He
in his
has
car.
like a phone.
Yeah, and in his car, and I love how different the grapple hook sounded. If there's like it just sounds very distinct.
Dude, the animated series grapple hook is iconic.
It is. Yeah.
It's really like a like it's like an explosion.
For sure.
Yeah.
What did you think about his look, though?
Totally fine.
Amazing. Just give him the purple gloves.
Totally.
Though.
Nah, I'm okay without that.
Cowards.
I'm good.
Cowards.
Who were we just talking about?
Harvey a little bit, and police
right.
commissioner.
Let's talk about Barbara really quick. Speaking about cultural differences, can we stop giving Barbara ginger hair if she's black? That's not possible.
Yeah,
Black people don't have red hair.
You can't. But like, who is that? Really, what you're gonna get hung up on?
It's weird. Just make it like if you're gonna go out of your way.
I think you have to do
the DE&I decision and like race swap characters. Just make her look like a normal black person. Why does she? We got to give her red hair because she's Barbara Gordon. She has red hair. We don't need to do that.
Yes, you do.
I don't think so.
You absolutely.
Then make her white.
But
Are you dyeing your hair in this 40s universe?
Is this really what you're getting caught up on here?
I think it's weird.
I don't care at all. I think if you're gonna make her Barbara Gordon, you need to give her that red hair because I hate that you're not like make her recognizable in some respect. I don't think the. I think
I'm not getting hung up on it. I'm just kind of like, I get it.
Like I guess
we
I
like
didn't
to
even
race swap gingers.
But like that would have been worse for me if they don't give her the red hair. Like, because then like it's just no. Like I don't know. I think there are black people out there that can get ginger hair. Like I think you might have to be mixed or something like that. But like I do think that is possible.
I mean,
but either way,
maybe
that didn't stick out to me at all. Like yeah, that's just the normal.
But like she has like the ethnic appropriate hair, and it's just like I don't know if this is possible. It's weird. It's just a weird decision.
Men can't fly, Gooch. Did you know that?
Batman can.
No, he can't, and it's not fun when he can fly. It's more fun.
I
when
do
he
like his savagery with some of the people. Like there's some dude Tom Kenny plays in the show.
Yeah.
He plays a few different characters. Same with like Yuri Lowenthal. A lot of top billing actors. Haley Joel Osment is in this as well. I forget who he plays. I liked Firefly.
Firebug.
Bug, which for some reason
I don't know. Again, just
he was pretty cool.
He was.
And of course, Clayface was good. They kind of got the inspiration from Scarecrow from The Adventures of Batman and Robin, which is the third season of the
That makes sense.
series.
But he's like the original Clayface, right? Bazo Carlo or whatever. I think so. There's different ones.
Yeah, the actor.
The original one, actor one, just wears like a mask of clay that he can change. Whereas the later one, the later ones actually are like clay men. So they seem to like take that from this.
I thought it's always Basil Carlo.
I don't think so. I think in certain one. Let me see here. I'm gonna look.
I know the actor thing is what changes.
Clayface, but anyways,
Maybe
I think
like the Chameleon. No, that's Marvel.
I think that episode was actually really great though, and I do like seeing him detect in that old style of like he's not really dealing with forensics. He's not dealing with like this super high tech, crime scene. He's kind of just got to go on his hunches and question people and figure it out. It's like LA Noire, Gooch. We're playing. It's Batman. Make a Batman game in the style of LA Noire. I'll play the shit out of that. But yeah, I like that interpretation a lot, actually. He was sufficiently creepy.
Onomatopoeia, not much to go off there with him.
Is that an original character or is that one that exists? I've never seen that before. Oh.
Yeah. But like he's like the hitman for like they're going after Barbara Gordon. They think they're going after Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
That was okay. What do you think about the Joker inclusion at the end?
Perfect.
I don't think we needed it.
You're never gonna get Batman without the Joker.
I know, I hear you.
But I do.
It reminded me of like the Barry Keoghan in the Batman. I'm like,
for sure.
I don't think we needed that.
I think it was less needed in the Batman than this.
Oh, yeah,
and I don't think this was really even that needed anyways. But I appreciate how different of a Joker they seem to be going with, voice-wise to start off. Like they don't credit him. I don't know who it is yet. We don't have a name who's playing him. Mm-hmm. But they definitely went more for the Joker that was. Have you seen Under the Red Hood, the animated version? I think it's Joe DiMaggio in that.
Yep.
It's more along that line. It's very like low and smooth and almost even like Venom, the guy who plays Venom, into that respect. But I think they're going.
John DiMaggio is in the show, by the way.
Joe DiMaggio? Yeah.
John.
Is it John DiMaggio? Really?
John.
Oh, okay.
Joe DiMaggio is a baseball player.
Right.
John DiMaggio is the voice actor who plays Bender and Marcus.
Thank you.
He plays some like side characters. Yeah, I picked up his voice.
My assumption here is they're going like obviously the Joker himself was inspired by The Man Who Laughs, like this old like 1910s movie. Have you seen like pictures of that at all? Have you ever like the guy looks like the Joker. He's like some type of serial killer.
Maybe.
And like he's all slick
I've
back.
heard the man. Well, you mentioned it recently, but
like I think they're definitely going in that respect. Like he's like much more sinister and like super psychopathic.
So
I
it's
think
less clowny.
and more like sadistic psychopath style.
Okay.
Which I could see, but so that's.
Oh.
So I think like even just his eyes, like the way he was like.
Yeah, for those wondering, just
You
Google
can't really
the
see
man
it. Yeah,
who laughs.
Google The Man Who Laughs. It'll come right up. I think they're going to go a pretty different route with it. So
Yeah,
that's what
I mean
I'm
they're
hopeful.
going a pretty different route with everything, pretty much. So
Well,
that's
I
to be
think they're going
expected.
like they're going just enough to make it interesting for me. I think if they went
Right.
a few inches less, I would have been like, "What are we doing?" And I think they understood that
Because
Tim,
it's the same thing?
Exactly, because we're basically you're giving me the same thing over again. And I think Tim,
Paul Dini?
who the guy who Tim, the guy who runs the show, Paul Dini writes, but Bruce Timm. Bruce,
Yeah.
he's like the showrunner and like one of the main starters of the first one, on top of Paul Dini. He did talk about that, how he's like, people approached me about this for years, but it's like I don't want to do the same old thing over again. And I do think that they made like the perfect amount of adjustments to make it feel fresh and new, but to still make it feel very much like Batman. Like Two-Face feels like Two-Face. Definitely feels a bit more realistic in the way if he's
It
almost
sucks
like
they just killed him off though. That was kind of what it was like. Oh, and same with like Harley.
Harley will be back though. She just leaves, remember?
Oh yeah.
Because she calls
doesn't die.
Montoya after and is like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out of town for a while.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna bring her and Joker together.
I liked that because Renee usually has a relationship with Ivy in the comics, or
Oh, really?
some interpretations. Yeah, she's a lesbian, but yeah, she has like some relationships with like I think it's Ivy or like some other female villain. So I was kind of cool with that, like the way they did that. And I liked Renee Montoya a lot.
I did too. Another fridge. I do think she was a fridge.
She's a fridge.
That again, I think speaks to like the cultural part of this show. Not they weren't worried about the like cultural aspect of the 40s. Like, Harley's asking her out like in plain day. Like, you're not gonna ask a woman out on a date in broad daylight in the 40s. It's just
right.
Like, and I think it's cool. I think that was the right way to go. Setting it in this time period with that super noir, heavy, inspiration works incredibly well. And I don't know. I saw the regular conversation online, like woke Batman, and I'm like, man,
No.
can you guys just shut the fuck up about everything? Like, again, that's where like I
know,
always bring it up, and I'm like,
I know I have my one gripe.
no,
but
yeah, and even like, listen, I do think there are points where it's like, all right, well, Gordon's gonna be in this. He's usually a white guy. Let's just make him a black guy. Okay, I don't really necessarily care. I don't know that has a lot to do with his character. So he's still Joe Gordon, and and even in the movie,
Jim.
Why am I saying Joe? Now I'm getting all these names mixed up.
I will tell you one thing. Did not like the inclusion of Deadshot for 2 seconds. I'm like, no.
Oh, just a throwaway. Yeah.
No. I'm like, that's not Deadshot. Stop. Don't give him a normal look. And he misses. The point is he doesn't miss. I didn't like that with Onomatopoeia, that Floyd Lawton is the first assassin that goes after him. I'm like, Dad, I don't know how I
See,
feel
that's
about
fine
that.
with like world building to me. Like that just Floyd Lawton's out there. Cool.
Yeah, but he doesn't like. I feel like that Deadshot outfit is like iconic, and the fact that he doesn't miss,
sure,
that's
that's
point.
fair. Very fair points.
Catwoman
Awesome.
is very animated series Catwoman, and we don't really see that version of Catwoman when she's a socialite often at all.
And I
we
like
saw
how-
it in Dark Knight Returns, or sorry, Dark Knight Rises.
A little bit. Right? I
yeah,
thought she
well-
was still poor in that. She just goes to.
Right, but she's
She
acting
sneaks
like a
in, yeah,
socialite.
yeah. No,
And she's poor in this too.
dude, I loved her. Well, she's rich poor. She used to be rich, but now like she's
Right.
running out of money.
Right.
I liked her little side, her maid as well. I thought was actually pretty funny for some reason.
Yeah.
I thought the idea of her being like inspired by Batman was an interesting kind of layer too. She's like, oh, you kind of gave me an idea. Like, why not? And then even after the first time she meets him, she's like, you have toys? And then she comes in the next time with like the balls and like the Catmobile also.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I really like that inclusion a lot.
And then the only other villain we didn't talk about was Natalia Knight, who is like the
The Ghost Man?
carnival. No,
Oh.
not him. Not the ghost guy. Well, we missed him,
Yeah.
but yeah, that seems like a wholly original thing. That kind of reminded me of like not Grey Ghost, but like Grey Ghost and like.
This is for sure pulp inspired,
Right,
Like
like pulpy.
Pulp Hero 20s, like
Yeah.
The Shadow.
Yeah.
Absolutely is the heavy
Yeah,
inspiration.
and
here.
a Nocturne is like who Natalia Knight is in the comics.
Got it.
But yeah, like her and her brother at the freak show.
Interesting.
I like that episode.
I
but,
did too.
But again, like they'll rob an orphanage with like, oh, it's Dick Grayson and Jace and Steffi Brown and fucking
And Timmy John.
Carrie Kelly. I'm like, what? Like, why are those?
Again, I think that's just to kind of close that door and to just
see, I think they were kind of like opening it.
interesting.
Like I know that kind of sounds odd.
No, but I get what I can see that interpretation for sure. I think that's their acknowledgement of his Robins that they're going to do for this, because I doubt this is going to be like a 5-season show. I think they're probably going to do maybe 2 or 3 at the most.
You think?
I think so. Who knows? Maybe they're loving it and they kick ass and they
Because I mean,
want to keep going.
with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves behind it, on top of Dini and Bruce Timm, like it just seems like they have such a powerhouse that they'll go as long as they want.
Fucking HBO, man. How did they let this go? They had, so for those who don't know, HBO, like Max and everything, originally pitched the show and had it greenlit, and they were developing it. But then HBO was like, nah, we want to actually shop it around. And Amazon bought it up. And why? Like, Harley Quinn does great on HBO. Like, they have a lot of, I think, successful kind of animated shows on there. And then you get rid of Batman? It just makes no sense to me at all.
At the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. I'm glad we got the show.
No, it's not that
I hear
you know what I mean? It's
but,
just
like,
more.
the
It's more of just
politics of it. Like I just don't care.
no. It's just more an interesting idea of like that. Just seems like such a stupid
DC's
business
in
move
an
to
odd
me.
place. Maybe they need some cast influx.
I think it's Warner Brothers.
maybe
and
writing
Discovery.
off. Right, Warner Brothers, not DC.
Sure.
Maybe writing off Batgirl wasn't enough.
No, I mean, sure, but like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they made a good chunk of change selling that to HBO.
I don't really think it hurt. Like, do you really think it hurts them?
Oh no! Oh, I mean, yes,
it's
in
a-
a way of like it's
no,
you're
it's a weird decision, but I don't think it necessarily hurts anybody.
I think I think it only would have helped them. And I think it does hurt you a little bit because it's like, why would you get rid of this that's apparently part of your brand and it's not even starting on your streaming service? It just seems odd. Do I think like monetarily or truly it's going to affect anything? No. But it's just more an interesting kind of business thought. Like, why would you get rid of that? Anywho. Anything else, Gooch?
I think that's it. I mean, I know we said before we started, we're probably not going to have too much to say. It is like a pretty basic, bare bones show.
Yeah.
Like they're clear. They're not alluding to Darkseid or any other. You know, Lois Lane is in it, but they're not like alluding to any wider heroes.
I would
Maybe
love
they
to
will
see.
go-
I would love to see that original Superman show up. I think you could earn that by season 3, and then have that be like the close.
Right,
off.
I was gonna say, do you think they're gonna do it like they did the original animated series, like do 2 seasons and then do Superman the animated series?
That would be really cool. I would love to see them take.
Or they call it like Superman Man of Steel or Superman like some sort of
Superman, the Man of Steel. No, that would work. Man of
Subtitle.
Steel. No, yeah, I mean, I guess you already have the movie Man of Steel, but that's just the title on its own. We already got the Dark Knight too. Actually, I was going to say, when are we going to get the Caped Crusader movie? I'm sure that will come at some point. Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that rumored to be after Dark Knight?
I think so. Something
Yeah.
like that.
What? That was such a weird era.
Like
I
a title,
remember
yeah,
that.
because they didn't know what they were doing, and then they were trying to do,
Because
Green
Heath
Lantern.
Ledger died, right?
Yeah. Well, and then they were going to try and fold Bales into like their Justice League, and he was like, "No,
I'm not fucking doing that, mate.
get the fuck out of here, mate. I still can't
What is
piss
he?
out of this."
Australian?
No, he's like British. He's like Cockney British.
I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah. Oh my god. But I think that does do it for us here. I would definitely wholeheartedly recommend the Caped Crusader.
It's definitely worth checking out. Recommend like to anybody. I think it's a pretty accessible show and pretty enjoyable.
Easily, yeah,
And
you
they're
can hop right in.
Not too violent, even though I think we could have turned up the violence a little bit. Could have had a little bit more blood. We're on Prime.
You definitely see more people die than you definitely do in like the old ones. It's not
Yeah,
like
I was looking at
super
the animated
heavy.
series. People are getting blown up left and right. They have guns all the time.
Yeah, but like they're not dying. Like you're not seeing someone get shot really in that. Like you're not like I feel like there's much more real death in this that you don't see very often, but like
I don't know if I'd say that.
it's a lot more punchy and like super powery, whereas these like your people are just getting shot and killed with a gun in this. You know what I mean? That's what at least how I see it, yeah.
Maybe.
But anywho, thank you all so much for watching with us live. If you've been with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network, we of course appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below for your pleasure. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.